Hey guys, this is Andrew from True North Trajectory Disc Golf, and I'm going to be doing my in the bag for 2021 and hopefully the start of 2022. So my first disc is going to be the Discraft X Soft Approach. I have a little custom Star Wars Empire logo drawn on there because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. But this guy, it's a zero stability. And basically this guy is going to be the one that I really use for my very close-up putts. I can sort of manipulate the hyzer on it pretty good. I can throw it pretty strong, and the grippiness of the disc will really grab onto the chains. So I find that that's really good. For my second disc here, I have the Page Pierce Fierce. This is my latest putter edition. It's a little bit more of a firmer plastic. It's understable, once again, a zero on there. But this one I find flies really well in the wind. It's a little bit heavier than my Discraft X Soft Approach, and plus I don't know, I think I love the look of it. I love the stamp, the colors on it. But this one's been really trusty so far for a little bit, you know, circles, edge putts. It works really well. But that's my second putter. And then on to the mid-ranges, I have the Discraft X Buzzz. I have the Get Swifty on there because I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. But the Buzzes are a huge part of my bag. I love them. I find I can do just about any shot I want with them if I try to put the right angle on it. But this one's my most understable of them all, being a X plastic, a little bit more beat in over the years. But this one I can really rely on to have the anhyzer on my right hand backhand and help follow through on those crazy long S-curve shots. My next disc is going to be the Innova Mako 3. I think this should be a staple in most disc golf players' bags. It's about as straight shooter as you could possibly be. I have it in Champion Plastic 2, just in case it does get a little bit windy out. Then I'll be able to, you know, withstand a little bit of that without having it turn over too crazy. But yeah, I think this is one of the best discs you can have if you need a straight shot, something a little bit longer, or even a little bit shorter. It's very maneuverable, so that's why I love having this in my bag. Now going back to the Buzzes again, I finally have some maximum weight Buzzes. I got this one in the ESP plastic with the Paul Macbeth signature on it. This one's a very reliable disc. I like the nice bright pink so I can find it if I'm throwing it in tricky areas, but once again can get that nice solid curve into the left if I need to, or if I'm putting a lot of torque on it, then I can get it to turn to the right. Very premium quality disc there, so it lasts quite a bit, making it good for woodland shots. But this one's definitely one of my favorites. Next up, we're moving on to the new Halloween edition Buzzz for this year. I haven't been able to pick up too many of these in the past. I haven't been too much of a fan of the graphics before, but I absolutely love this one. Love the attention to detail. You got the screaming woman on the side, got the Buzzz on the bottom there. I just thought this was a really well-made disc, and yeah, it's hopefully going to become one of my staples as well. Just shouldn't throw it when it's dark because that black plastic will make it a little bit tough to see. Next up, we're heading over to my fairway drivers. I have the Leopard 3 here. This one, I don't have the best arm ever, so oftentimes I find if I really need that consistent, nice little S-curve shot, nothing too much power to do, then it's a really controllable shot that just goes a little bit further than those mid-ranges. So that's why I like it. It's a very comfortable disc. It's a star plastic, so once again, very durable. But yeah, can't really go wrong throwing one of these guys. Next up, we have the Discraft Ss. This one's in the X plastic. I have the Doge logo on there. Once again, just doodling on my discs, but this one was a huge disc for me when I was starting out. It didn't take too much power to really get that nice S-turn on there, get that maximum distance, and my arm strength isn't very good, so throwing this guy full power would really carry me a lot farther than I would throwing a maximum weight in more of the high-speed drivers. That being said, I'm outgrowing it a little bit more now, and especially if it's a windy day, it'll really turn over a lot more than I typically want. But if it's a nice quiet day, no wind or anything like that, it's a real accurate far distance shooter, which is why it's still in my bag for those kinds of days. And then next up, we have my Discraft Page Pierce Passion. I really like Page Pierce as a player, fantastic personality. and she put out this disc line for Discraft, and it's really good because I sort of feel like this disc gives me the Mako vibes but with extra speed. So if I really want to have that straight shot and have it carry through instead of diving off to the fade on the left, then this guy really just maximizes that distance and holds up relatively well in the wind considering. But yeah, I recommend, especially for, you know, beginner intermediate players, if you want to have a little bit more of a distance driver but still maintain that ease of throw, this one should be one you're checking out. And then up next, getting a little bit faster with a 9-speed, we have the Discraft Heat. Basically, this one, once again, a very beginner and intermediate friendly disc. This one isn't a maximum weight, so it does fly pretty well. But ESP plastic works really good. It has the 9.6 -3.1, so it turns over really well, gets that maximum speed. Once again, if it's aggressively windy, it might fail a little bit in terms of turning over a bit too much, but for the most part, light wind, no wind, this thing has a really good shot for me. Once again, that lighter arm, I can't quite torque it as much, so this one will really help me carry a lot more typically than a heavier or more overstable disc would, which is why it's in my bag. Next up, we have one of my more recent additions. I have myself the Innova Sidewinder, the tournament edition for the Music City Open with Mason Ford as the champion. I really like this one because it's got the halo plastic, and although sometimes it can be a little bit more tricky having that more overstable quality to the halo plastic, I really love the way this thing looks. And once again, it's a Sidewinder, so it's got a really easy turn, a little bit less fade, making it a little bit more manageable for me to get those really long distances without having to focus too much on my power. But yeah, I really like this one. Beautiful disc. It's held up really good so far, and especially on windy days, it just has that extra little bit to keep it in a nice straight shot for any narrow fairways. So the next one, getting a little bit more to the higher speed discs, we have my Avenger Ss and the ESP plastic for Paul Macbeth line again. So this one, it's a 0.5 stability, so it is quite understable. So if I'm using it once again in very light speed or light speed wind, open fields, I can feel really good on just really pumping this one with a flat angle, and it's going to carry really far. Not too much more to say about this guy. It's one of the easier discs I have for higher speed. There's one more that's probably a little bit understable compared to it, and we'll get to that one later, but I love the feel of this disc, love the look of it, and it's served me pretty well so far. Next up, we're going to my most understable higher speed disc. This one is the Glow Beast. So it's got a 168 gram, and obviously the glow plastic, it's a little bit lighter than some of the others. So if it's a windy day, this guy can get a little bit crazy, but when there's little wind to no wind, I can really pump this guy really far. It's gotten my furthest drive. So far, it's just sitting around 360 feet for my best ever. So this one's been really good for me. I feel like if it's a little bit heavier, it might have done the trick, but and in that sort of situation, I have the next disc to show you to help address that. So this is going to be the answer to my previous disc's problems, which is my Beast in a Champion plastic. This one is a lot more wind resistant, so if I do need to have that same sort of flight path as the Beast does in the Glow plastic, I'll just use this guy and it will hold up a lot better in wind and keep its angle a lot more. I really like this one for large, wide open field shots, especially with wind. It just helps with that predictability of where it's going to go a lot more and still maintain that high speed to carry the disc where it needs to go. So following that one, I have a little bit more of my overstable drivers, something that most people really like. It's the Innova Wraith. This one's a really popular disc. It's just got a nice flight path on there, 11.5 -1.3. You know exactly what's going to get you every time. It's got great distance, the perfect dash shot, and my arm is slowly getting better, so if I really need to get that distance and maybe there's a little wind, I can really rely on this one to pull through every time. But it does need to be thrown properly, otherwise you will find yourself crashing off to the left. But there's a reason that this is a really popular disc, because it's just so darn reliable, and that's why it's one of my best high-speed drivers. Next up, we're taking a look at my Innova Wraith again. This one's more overstable than the last one because it's got that halo plastic, but I love that Wraith logo on there. It looks really nice. I love the edging of all the halo plastics there. And this one's a maximum weight as well for Garrett Girthy. And this one's just an absolute beast. I'm trying to learn how to throw it a little bit better, but for sure it provides me that overstable experience if I'm a little bit unsure of the wind conditions. But this guy I believe is going to be the best one going forward for me. I'm a little bit of like sort of lower end intermediate, and as I get a little bit better, get more power on my throw, this one's going to become a real staple in my bag, I believe. And then finally, to top off my bag, I have my final distance driver. This one kicks my butt every time. I'm not quite good enough to throw it, but I absolutely love the look of it. And it does provide me a couple really hard turn shots, and that's the Destroyer from Innova. And once again, star plastic, so this guy's pretty overstable, but should wear in a little bit over time. It's for the Tour Series from Calvin Heimberg. And I just absolutely love the look of this disc. I find the stamp looks really nice. Plus, I love calling it the Star Destroyer. I mean, how cool is that? But this one will definitely be overstable for me. It always turns to the left. But then if I have even a shorter shot that I have a really sharp turn I need to do, I know I can throw this lightly and on an angle, and it's just going to have the hardest turn around and really place my shots when I'm in difficult situations. And then who knows, maybe in time I'll be able to throw it properly like it should. But yeah. Those are pretty much all my discs for now, and hopefully it stays pretty much the same for next year. I feel like that's more my level, but then who knows, I can start doing some working out thanks to Disc Golf Strong's exercises. Been taking a look at those. I recommend taking a look at them if you want to improve your fitness and some of your muscles for the disc golf game. I think it's going to be really useful for that. And then who knows, maybe I'll have a different bag with more overstable discs for next season. But for now, if you're a beginner or an intermediate, I suggest taking a look at all those discs because they've served a really good purpose for me as I've grown my skill, and maybe they'll help you out as well. But yeah, thanks for checking in. Those are my discs, and I'm probably gonna go throw a couple now for practice day. Gotta have those open field days to get good.